Hi guys, welcome to the Little Miss Tony Cooking Show, and I'm Denise, and I'm from Little Bambino's Restaurant in Merrill, Michigan. And today, I'm going to show you how to make healthy apple pie. And the list of ingredients that we're going to use is, we're going to use 2 Granny Smith apples, we're going to use some dried cranberries, lemon, vanilla bean, honey, coconut oil. We're going to use 4 tablespoons of butter. We're going to use 3/4 cup of almond butter, a dash of sea salt. We're going to use a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and we're going to use a dash of nutmeg. And to get it started, this is a pretty simple recipe. Besides the pecans that are in the oven, I'm going to grab them out. What I did was I used almost a cup of pecans. I put them in the oven at 350. I toasted them for 5 minutes. We're just going to pull them out. And we're just going to let them cool for a minute, so we'll set them aside, and then we're going to stick them in a bag and crush them up. So first we're going to get our apples. We'll grab a couple of apples right here, and we'll start by getting these all peeled. And all we're going to do is just trim the apple. I like to use Granny Smith's with them that has a little more tartar taste, and I'm using regular honey, pure honey, and actually this is from a farmer out in this area, so I know that the honey's good. And he taught me a trick, and he told me if your honey gets like, it's not like this, if it gets white and you think it's old and no good, it isn't old and no good. Just put it in a pan with some hot water, set it on the stove, and warm it up that way. Don't stick it in the microwave because you'll ruin a lot of your nutrients that are in your honey and your vitamins. So that's how we're going to do that. And then I have dried cranberries over here, and I really don't never measure the cranberries because it matters on the size of your apples. You can put a half a cup in, a 1/4 a cup in. It matters how you like cranberries. So we're just going to slice these, and then we're going to slice them in half a couple times. And this is probably the most work you'll do on this recipe that's anything labor intensive. This is really fast. It's a great, healthy little recipe. We're just going to get it cleaned up so it can be sliced. And we're going to put vanilla bean in this, in the little milk mixture that I'm making. I'm not making whipped cream. I'm making like warmed milk to put on the apple pie, which I like even better than whipped cream. Seeps in a little bit. It almost has a consistency of a bread pudding. This recipe right here is really good if you want to flip it around and change it up a little bit. You can use raisins if you'd like, if you can find the good and healthy ones for you, or if you have someone that freeze dries them themselves. But you can also take the almond milk and warm it up on the stove. Take 4 egg yolks, and put the egg yolks on the side, beat them up. And once the almond milk gets warm, take some of the a little bit of the almond milk, and as you're whipping your eggs, add a little bit of the almond milk into it, and then turn around and take the mixture and dump it back in the pan and continue to cook for just a minute, and add it over top of bread pieces, and you have breaded pudding with apples. You can do the same thing with this recipe with peaches, with raspberries, with any kind of fruit that you really enjoy. All right, so we have them all cooked up, or cut up here, except for into their little pieces. But I'm going to take and turn our pan on. And get the right burner here. All right, we're going to turn her like on medium. I'm going to add, seeing as this is 4 tablespoons all together, but I'm going to turn around and I'm going to add 3 into our mix for our apples. Then I'm just going to slice our apples and add them in. So a paring knife is really good for this. Just add them as you slice them. You can cut them in chunks too if you like. It really doesn't matter, just as long as you're keeping your size consistent on all your apples so that they cook pretty much all at the same time. We're not going to overcook this and turn it into an applesauce either, so. 2 apples really goes a long way. I'm going to do 2 dishes today, but as you'll see, it makes a healthy amount. And they say an apple a day helps keep the doctor away, so how can you go wrong with this dish? You're healthy and you're eating your apple for the day. Okay, so then we're going to take, and we have 1 lemon, and we're going to put like about not quite half of this lime, like 1/4 of it, or lemon, I'm sorry, in it. Just to give the apples just a little zing. And then we're going to take and we're going to give it a little pinch of salt, not a lot. Salt actually will help sweeten something too. And then we're going to take and we're going to put 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and just a dash of nutmeg. So, and then we're going to take our honey and we're going to put probably 2 tablespoons of honey in. You're going to have to, because all apples are different, you're going to have to taste this once it gets hot. Make sure it's sweet enough for you. If it's not sweet enough for you, just add a little more honey. Let's get all that honey off there. There we go. I'll transfer my spoons here. And then all we're going to do is mix this up. And we're not even going to taste it yet because we want to make sure that our honey gets a little bit warm and incorporates in with the apples. But now that she's all mixed up, we'll work on our pecans. So now that our pecans are setting over here and they've cooled a little bit, we're just going to put them into a bag. What I did when I put the pecans on this pan was I sprayed the pan with some coconut oil. Like I said, 350, 5 minutes. Ouch, that's a little hot. Just put them in the bag and let's just crush them up. You can crush them up really fine, or you can get a hole in the bag like that. Just shove it in, throw it back towards the other end. It matters how fine you like your mixture. I like to make it like a crust. You can put this in a little hand mixer too if you want. So what we're going to do with this is we're just going to add it on our counter. Put this away. Spread it out a little bit. And we're going to add a little bit of honey to it. And this is about 1.5 tablespoons of hot butter. This is the other part of our 4 teaspoons. Take a little bit of honey, add it in there, and then mix her up. So really all we're doing is incorporating a little bit of sweetness, just like if you were making your crust for any kind of pie. Instead of using sugar, you're going to use honey. And you're putting a little bit of butter in there. If you don't want to use butter, you can use applesauce. You can use mashed bananas. There's a lot of things that, you know, if you want to eat more healthy, you can try looking things up online is a great way. Looking things up on Pinterest. I love going to the health food store. Even though some of them don't carry fruits and vegetables, they just carry healthy items. They're always willing to help you learn how. And since summer's coming, prayerfully it's coming, that it's a little bit better to eat a little bit healthier. So let's check on our apples now. We can use our same little spoon. And they're cooking. Let's get a little apple and let's see what we have. not bad. It could use a little more sweetening. So we're gonna put a little more honey in it. You can always tell it matters on the apples. Just don't overdo it. I like nutmeg, but be very careful with your nutmeg that you don't overdo it. So as you see, this is pretty easy so far. Now we're gonna take our almond milk. Like I said, this is 3/4 of a cup of almond milk. Turn our other little pan on. Keep it on the burner there. Put our almond milk in, and that's all there is to that besides adding some vanilla. Now you can add sweeteners. Just gonna take a half a vanilla bean, cut her in half, hold on to the one end, split her down the middle. It's probably harder to hold on to it than anything. Just kind of break her open a little bit. That's all the pure vanilla on the inside. And just throw her into the milk and leave her be. So I bought these online, and it's a great way to do it. They're a lot cheaper online than they are in the store. You can buy them in bulk. And then I bought these cranberries at the health food store because they're dried and they're natural cranberry juice. So they're not bad for you at all. So our apples are cooking. Like I said, it's almost done. We want the apples to be not soft, but not overly firm either. So we're gonna add a little bit of our cranberries in. Stir it up. Once you have cranberries that are all natural and they're not the sugared kind, sometimes the grocery store sells dried cranberries, but they're loaded with sugar. Just look on the back because you don't want to take all your goodness that you're working so hard to do. You can also, instead of using honey, you can use guava nectar. So now I'm gonna put these little, I have a couple little ramekins, and then I have a couple of little plates. So just to make it look a little bit prettier as dessert. You can even take and you can use a little fancy plate, put it underneath it. Just because it's healthy doesn't mean it can't be beautiful. We're gonna do this and we're gonna give her one more taste, and she's just about ready. Turn her off. Much better. That honey made a difference. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my fork, shut my burner off, and I'm gonna try to set these nice and pretty. Without getting all the juice in there. You notice I'm trying to keep out the cranberries. You can probably put the cranberries in last, but I like to kind of put most of my cranberries on top the plate. Like I said, guys, this is really a nice, healthy dessert for you. And it's fast, it's simple. Your almond milk is over there cooking away. It's just warming up. The vanilla is infusing in it. And vanilla, again, will make something taste sweeter without adding natural sugars to it. Let's put some in this one. Let's put some on the counter, I guess. There we go. All right, this is probably the longest part of it. The second longest part of it is picking your apples out. Use a set of tongs, would probably be a little bit easier too. But see how the apples are nice and they're not firm. I'm just gonna make this nice and pretty for them. If I was doing this ahead of time, you could let these drain the juice a little bit, let them cool, and you could stack them around in a circle. All right, so we have almost all the apples out of the bottom of the pan, and we have our juice. a little bit of the juice. There you go. And when it incorporates in, the nuts will incorporate in with the apple stuff. See how it started to firm up? We're going to add it on top. Doesn't it look beautiful already? And tastes scrumptious. All right. Now we're going to shut our milk off. It's nice and hot. It's incorporated in with the vanilla. Now I can take my cranberries. Like I said, you can use peaches, you can use any kind of fruit, plums would be great. I like to try to find what's in season. All right, so we have our apples, we have a little bit of our juice, we have our crumbs on top, and all we're gonna do with our hot almond milk, and I'm using regular almond milk, I'm using refrigerated almond milk. So we're just gonna put it all around. Oatmeal would be good in this too, but you have to make sure that you're using the oatmeal that is uncooked and the stuff that's not pre-cooked in the grocery department. You have to use the regular oats. You can also use walnuts with this if you'd like, but this is our dish. Healthy apple pie in a nice little fancy way. Just because it's healthy doesn't mean it isn't great. And then I'm gonna have my husband come over and try our dish today. So Stephen, get your camera down and get it ready. And I'll get us a couple forks. And pick up this little mess here. Okay, honey, come on over and try. And I'll get you a little bit ready for you. Oh, well, you get a little bit ready for you then. Got fuzz on me. I'll try this one. You like it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys. Healthy apple pie. I guarantee you'll like it.
Really good.
And this is Denise and Steve from the Little Miss Tony's Cooking Show from Little Bambino's Restaurant in Merrill, Michigan, saying ciao.
Ciao.
And I hope you enjoyed the Mila pie. Thank you.